All right, guys, welcome back to Mindset Mastery, episode 3. We got me and Dawson this time.
Yep.
A little internal episode. Last time we had Joseph and Andrew on. That was a great episode. We missed Dawson on that one.
Dealing with some personal things. Wasn't able to make it, but I'm back to co-host now. We're back.
All right, guys, so we have a couple of questions prepared. Today we just want to go into a couple of random topics. We were talking about what we wanted to talk about on this episode beforehand, and we didn't come up with a specific theme, but I think we're just going to go into a variety of topics, tell you guys where we've been the last couple weeks, what we're going to be doing for the rest of the summer. Dawson's going to talk a little bit about his business and how that's going right now, and then we'll get into some other self-improvement talks. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to start with talking about your business and how that's been going and how you're trying to bounce back over the next couple weeks and months?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked about it a little bit on Instagram and also YouTube. But recently I had a guy that was working for me, a subcontractor. He was a drywaller.
Okay.
I hired him on a big job. And anyways, we kind of like bickered throughout the job. He ended up, he was just upset with me. And at the end of everything, after I already paid him out and everything, he went on to Google and left me a 1-star review. So before then I was at 5 stars when someone would look me up.
Yeah.
And now when you look me up, I went down to a 4 at the time. I'm back up to like a 4.6 currently. But at the time it brought me down to a 4. So that just really limited the amount of incoming calls that I got from customers.
Okay.
So basically just getting a lot less calls. And that's the first time I had to deal with that. It's been a big change because before then, I was making a lot of money and it was all going really good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of learning how to adapt to that struggle, that challenge, and go from there. So I'm trying to implement some new procedures and strategies and different things to try to combat it and come back from it.
So how many reviews were you at when you were at your 5 stars? How many reviews was that on Google?
I can't remember exactly at the time, but it wasn't that many. I think it was only like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And that was the thing is I think that didn't really matter too much.
It was just like your star rating.
Yeah, because I think when people looked up, handyman here or whatever, construction here,
Just came up with 5
they
stars.
didn't really like look into how many reviews.
Yeah.
You see 5 stars and you're like, okay, they're a good company. And you call them.
For sure.
So yeah. So now I'm just like trying to reach out to, old customers, get
Yeah.
reviews from anyone, build it back up. I think I need like 26 more 5-star reviews to get to a 4.9.
Yeah.
We'll get there though, and I'm coming back from it.
Yeah. No, I feel like if you had 5-star reviews and 1 star and then it drops you down a whole star, it's kind of like, well, everyone else said I was a 5 and there was just this one bad experience with one guy and then it changes the course of your whole thing.
Yeah.
But as you build up more reviews and get closer to that 5 again, you'll be fine. I think you just need to get those testimonials, and also you can put testimonials up on your Instagram. I work for one of my friend's dads. He owns a trying to think of it. It's like a land business, like buying and selling land.
Okay,
I run their social media page.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I post for them, and getting customer testimonials has actually helped a lot.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard. It's harder than you might think to reach back out to those people and them to actually give you a
No,
good
it is because
testimonial,
a lot of people don't take the time out of their day. What I would do at the beginning is say hey, I'll give you $20 off the invoice. You write me a good review real quick. But anyways, yeah.
And it takes there's strategies to it, and I would say just that customer service, like when you are working with them, making it the best experience possible and just being really genuine in your interactions with them, so then later down the road they do give you that good review or that good testimonial. I feel like that's super important, especially for you, because people are all they're seeing is their stars. They might go look at a couple reviews if you only have 6 or whatever you had at the time. You got that bad one. As you build up more of those good reviews, you'll see the bad ones fewer and further between.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, absolutely. It won't matter quite as much. The really disappointing part about it was that he wasn't a customer. He was
just
an
like someone
employee.
you were working with.
He was an employee working for me, and he went to pose as a customer. So I'm still in the midst of getting it removed, trying to.
I was about to say, if it's fake news, that's
Google's just super strict about the reviews and not removing them, so it probably won't get removed
because they don't want it to be a miss.
Yeah, right.
Not accurate of your business.
Right,
if they
exactly.
remove reviews. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's hard to prove it, but yeah, just trying to come back from that, and it's definitely teaching me a ton. Like, I feel like I'm growing a ton throughout this process.
Yeah.
Because I was letting it get to my head, and I was just like, felt like I was on top of the world.
Because the leads literally got crushed. They probably got chopped in half or even more.
I mean, it's way different. I mean, I was making, like I said on my YouTube, like almost $1,000 a day that I was working.
Yeah.
To now, I'm like having a huge struggle getting any jobs and making
like a
any
job
income.
every couple weeks or every week. No?
Yeah. So, just I'm growing from it though. You
Yeah.
learn a lot, and that's just all that it's about. As long as you learn from it.
Yeah, you'll probably, eventually when you get back to the 4.9, you'll probably have so much more knowledge on how to make those interactions better with customers so that never happens again.
Yeah.
And then you'll also be, like, consistently getting more jobs. So once
Absolutely.
you get back, you should have learned a lot, and you'll probably be making even more than you were before that bad review.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chances of that happening again will be a lot lower.
Mm-hmm.
I
agree.
I don't know. I just don't understand why he would try and like crush your, because he probably had to know that would have some impact. Maybe not that big of an impact, but just like, did you ever reach out to the guy again afterwards?
I did. I tried to talk it out with him and be like, hey man, like, I'm just 20 years old. Like, you're 40 something. Like,
really?
yeah,
It was an older
yeah.
guy?
And I was like, I think he just didn't like having a boss that was like twice, or like I was half his age,
Yeah.
But he basically told me to just shove it up my butt, but
He just told you to F off?
yeah, basically.
Damn.
But there's just people
brutal.
like that, man. I mean, I was like, dude, I'm 20, dude. I'm just trying to like
You're just starting
live my
up your-
dreams. Like, can't you just talk to me about this instead of like trying to tear me down, But like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. At this point, I can't do anything from it. You can't control what other people do to you, but you
Yeah,
can
you just
control
have
how
to
you
respond.
respond. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you just got to be able to control your emotions.
Yeah, exactly. That's huge. I've been working on that lately.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to let these outside forces influence your emotions, in your personal life. You got to learn how to like balance it. So
For sure. So, are you scaling up your ads or anything like that in the Fort Collins area to try and combat that and get more leads, or are you kind of just trying to slowly build back up and just take less jobs for the next couple weeks of summer? Because I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like, what do I even do with this free time when you don't have jobs this summer because you got so much extra time on your hands?
yeah, I'm in a hard spot because where I was getting most of my leads, they're very expensive leads. I'm spending like a lot of money for them. So I'm not increasing my budget just because I'm not making as much money.
So you
not
don't
near
have
as
that
much.
money to
Yeah.
spend
So it's kind of like that awkward
Yeah.
spot. So I'm trying to use these free sources of marketing, scanning the Nextdoor app, a lot of different strategies like that, and just trying to find jobs that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned you wanted to talk a little bit about your morning routine, and I'm actually pretty interested to hear about that. I think that'd be something interesting for people to listen to,
sure.
especially a lot of the guys around our age that are friends with us, and if some people are watching that don't actually know who we are, I think it'll be beneficial because that's really something I want to lock in. So I want to hear your perspective on that. I have some things that I've started to do that really help, especially just like waking up early and getting in a set routine.
Yeah.
Starts your day off so well. I'm not the best on it yet, but I want to hear what you've been doing because I know you're interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like your morning routine is like a huge part of your life. And honestly, I think that my morning routine is the reason that I am where I am. It comes from that. I've been working on my morning routine probably for like 4 or 5 years now. Ever since I got into self-improvement and that kind of lifestyle, I've been working on it and changing it and seeing what works best for me.
Yeah.
So I've, experimented. That's basically like how I got into it, just experimenting. And, sometimes I would realize like, hey, this is too much stuff.
Yeah.
So eventually over time, I'm going to fall off and not keep consistent with it.
You want to have something that you can do every day and not have to be like, oh, this is eating into other parts of my day, or I'm getting burnt out with doing like 10 different things.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
You got to find that exact, amount that it's not going to burn you out.
Yeah.
So you can consistently do it day in and day out.
Yeah.
And basically I think it's going to be different for everyone, but find what are those different routines that are going to set you up for the day.
Yeah.
I think like my morning routine is kind of what armors me for the day to battle the day. When I don't do my morning routine, I just have like a bad day.
You just like don't feel as locked in or as focused
exactly.
on what you're doing.
And a big thing
Just
about
kinda all over the
emotions is like
place.
I notice I can't control my emotions nearly as much when I don't hit my morning routine like exactly.
I think that's an interesting point. I never really thought of it like really affecting your mental throughout the day, because I mean, I guess I haven't really gotten to like the most set routine. It's just been so crazy the last couple weeks. But I want to start getting up at 8 or 8:30, going on a walk outside, getting that sunlight with my dog.
Yeah, that's great.
Coming back, pounding some water. And then I'm deciding if I want to like start working out in the morning, and then coming back and showering, and then getting on with the rest of my day, or doing like a little bit of a different routine. But for me, it's basically just been getting that sunlight and trying to get up earlier.
Getting the sunlight's huge. That's something that's not like actively in my morning routine right now.
Okay.
But I do think that's really important. But my morning routine also does change all the time, and I think that's important to adapt to
be
different
flexible.
situations. You know, where are you living at that time? Like, what's going to be best for you at that certain time?
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now, I guess, is I get up about 6 a.m. every single day. And
Pro gets up way early.
it used to be 4. I used to get up at 4 every day.
I feel like that's not sustainable. Like, I feel like that's one of those.
Well, yeah, I didn't keep
unless you're
doing
going
it.
to bed at like 8.
That's the thing, and I didn't like going to bed at 8. I like going to bed more like 10, which is still early for me. But
10 to 6 is great though. It's so much better than say 12 to 8, like or even like 1 to 9. Those sleep hours are so much less, because it's like it has to do with like the sunlight and your circadian rhythm. Even if you're used to going to bed at 1 every night and waking up at 9, the sleep quality, like the deep sleep you actually get, is nowhere near as good as when you're waking up earlier, closer to like 6, 7, 8, and going to bed 10, 11.
no,
It's
for
just so
sure.
much better sleep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I'm not a doctor or like a sleep expert, but just from what I've found in research and a lot of studies and just a lot of people that I'm listening to that are smarter than me, that's what I've heard. So I'm trying to go to bed closer to 11. I want to be in bed before midnight, which is, it doesn't seem that crazy, but for me it's kind of hard because I always, sometimes I get back from work at like 9:15, and then I want to be up for a little bit and get some work done, do some social media work, stuff like that, or just like hang out with friends. And then by that time it's already 11, 12, and then get ready for bed. And then I catch myself sitting on my phone or watching YouTube. And I'm like, what am I doing? I got to wake up early tomorrow. And then I'll end up, if I do want to wake up at 9 the next day, I'll only end up getting like 7.5 hours of sleep, which just isn't the same for me. I'm one of the people who needs like 8 or 9 hours to function correctly.
That's exactly how I am too, and I like to have the exact time every night.
Yeah,
because I can feel the difference. Honestly, like if I get 8 every night and then one night I get 7, I can totally feel the difference.
It's really just consistency. Like if you're going to bed, even if you're getting 7 or 7.5 every night, that's fine as long as you're going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. I feel like.
Absolutely. But yeah, back to the morning routine. We
Run
kind
me
of got
through.
caught off guard.
Yeah, run me. I mean, sleep is a super important part. Your morning routine literally sets you up for sleep the next night. I don't know if you've heard about that. Listening to like people like Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but you should look into him. He's really good. He's got a good podcast. But he talks a lot about how your sunlight in the morning actually sets you up for sleeping at night, because it spikes your cortisol, and it's basically up here. And then by the time you go to sleep, it's waning down. By the time you go to sleep, it's like as low as possible. And you can sleep very good, get really good deep sleep, and then right in the morning again. So the earlier you get that cortisol spike, which happens when you go straight into the sun or when you take a cold shower, then it spikes as soon as possible in the day. And then that means by the time you go to bed, it's as low as possible. But if you sit in your
I'm gonna have
room-
to start adding that sunlight in more.
Yeah.
Since I am on my cut, I have been like doing some morning walks in the morning just to get my body moving earlier in the day.
Also,
so.
I don't know if you want to talk about the melanotan, but that will help.
Oh,
also.
yeah.
Like literally just a walk in the sun was gonna help you tan more. Like
Oh
way
no,
more.
right? Yeah, just getting the rays on you.
Yeah.
But anyways, up at 6. I do like waking up early. To me, that's not that early. That's a super for me,
To me, that's
sustainable
early.
time. One of the reasons I love it is there's no distractions. No one's hitting your phone at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, you're up before most people that are trying to.
So
even
you can,
most people
you
that
can,
are trying to better their life. I mean, me, I'm still waking up at 8, 9, but I'm gonna try and incrementally get earlier. It's really just about when you go to bed. For me, that's the only reason I can't wake up.
Yeah, and I saw something the other day that said there's actually no one that is morning people. Like some people say, "Oh, I'm not a morning person."
Yeah,
but no one's actually a morning
But
person.
that's discipline, though.
That's what I was gonna go into. I think it's just all discipline.
Yeah,
like you have to be. Sure. There's just certain people that are disciplined enough to say, "Hey, I need to get up now. I need to start getting to work. I need to use this distraction-free time."
Yeah.
You know.
And morning work it's also proven by research and by multiple studies throughout the years. Morning work is way more effective than later in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brain power, your neurons are literally firing faster in the morning than as the day goes on. You get less and less like acclimated, I guess, less and less keen to take in new information, be putting out good brain power.
Couldn't relate to that more because that's why I do most of my work in the morning is because your brain is fresh off a fresh night's sleep. You know, at the end of the day, you've taken in and consumed so much information throughout the day that you just don't have the same brain power as you do when you just wake up in the morning. Yeah,
I guess it's when you wake up, your mind is way more clear. So if you just do your morning routine, you don't even have to think about that because if you're in an actual routine, you know exactly what you have to do. It doesn't take you that long. Boom, boom, boom. Get these things done. Sit down at your computer, start the work. You're not thinking about, oh, I got to do all this stuff later. You just start grinding. And then once you get out of that flow state, take a break, go do something else, maybe come back. But your mind is so much more clear. By the end of the day, you have all these things you're thinking about. You're thinking about tomorrow. You're thinking about, I got to get to bed. You're more lazy. You want to sit on your phone. You want to hang out with friends, watch TV, whatever it is. It's so much harder. Like when I try and go edit a YouTube video at night, I'm so much less productive.
Yeah.
But if I do it in the afternoon, even in the afternoon or early afternoon before I go work out, I think that's key. If you do a lot of work before you go work out.
Yeah.
Because after you work out, you kind of just want to chill and be more relaxed. You're more drained mentally and physically. So getting work done before the gym has really helped me. That's one thing.
Yeah,
I'll let
do
you
that
continue
as well.
though. I'll let you continue on your morning routine. So
yeah, I guess we'll actually go into what it is.
Yeah.
Let's 6 a.m. Wake up.
Breakdown.
I go into the bathroom, get my weigh-in done, my picture done on an empty stomach, and then I go into the kitchen. You know, take my supplements, my pills, my medication, stuff like that.
Okay.
Get a pot of coffee running. I always have coffee every morning. It kind of just kicks things off for me.
You might need to move that back too.
Yeah.
Because 90 minutes, the research says.
To wait.
Yeah,
so it doesn't block your...
adenosine.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't actually crash later in the day.
Yeah, so you don't want to artificially... Because caffeine basically binds to the adenosine receptors and blocks it from keeping you from falling asleep. But you don't want to block that because then as soon as the caffeine starts to wear off, it's literally just going to hit you like a train.
Right, yeah. That probably is something I should, test out.
I mean, even 60 minutes or 90 minutes. Because one thing that really helps me, even though I am like definitely addicted to caffeine, I just did a week break. But one thing that helps me is not having it even within the first couple hours of the day. Today's kind of different because we had to do this pod a little bit earlier in the day. But usually I won't have caffeine until at least 12 before my workout. So I'm basically running in the morning just off that mental clarity that you get from being fasted. Like I'll do intermittent fasting. That's another thing, I guess, in my morning routine. But we'll keep going on yours. Keep getting like sidetracked.
I don't do coffee every day. I do tea sometimes in the morning because there is a lot of like research, like health benefits from certain types of teas.
You do green tea?
Yep, green tea, matcha tea, a lot of different kinds of teas have different benefits. You can look into it. After that, I kind of just go sit down, and that's where I really start getting into my morning routine. I always start my day off with gratitude. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for.
That's what I need to start doing, journaling and stuff.
I tell a lot of people this. That is one habit that I think has like solely changed my life forever.
And it's so simple. It seems like, is that really going to change anything? That seems kind of corny. It's just like, but you never really sit down and think about how you actually are grateful. And I feel like I don't do that enough, but really just embracing life and being thankful because I'll let you keep going. But after that, I want to get into something. I want to get into something with that, the gratitude.
When I started doing it, writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for, like as funny as it sounds, it was kind of hard. Because, I would think like, okay, I'm grateful for my family, a roof over my head, my food. But those are kind of like generic things, Although they're great to be thankful for.
Those are like basic needs, I guess you could say.
Doing it every day, as I kept doing it, I was able to search deeper and find things in my everyday life that I was truly grateful for. And I think that it just changed my perspective through my daily life. So instead of seeing the negative every day, it trained my brain to see the positive in life.
It forces you to actually look beyond the surface level and really say, wow, I don't even need this in my life, but I have this, and that makes the day just so much more positive. It really brings a deeper meaning to your life, can make you have a deeper understanding and appreciation for the things that you don't deserve, but you still have anyway. That just makes your life that much sweeter.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most influential habits ever.
Yeah.
Was there more you wanted to say on that? You said you wanted to get into that on gratitude.
I'll let you get back to what you were doing after the 3 gratitude things, but I think I'm trying to remember if it was that I was just going to talk about. Just
the benefits of it.
Yeah, just thinking throughout the day. What was it?
Got the gorilla in mind, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
New flavor.
Yeah.
You allowed to say that?
This is okay. So I can't release the other one, which is coming out next week. I think they're releasing it. But we got Tiger's Blood, so brand new flavor. Code BERG, 10% off. That's June 19th. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's going to sell out probably pretty fast. The strawberry, when it came out, sold out within like a couple days, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, because I tried to.
And then the variety packs and all that are out right now. But hopefully when these come out, they'll restock the other flavors, because I really want to get some more like black cherry and orange.
Yeah.
Because the black cherry is literally crazy. But
so go order your gorilla. Code BERG, right?
what do you think? Yeah, Code BERG. What do you think of this flavor?
I think the flavor is really good, but to be honest, I've never been a huge Tiger's Blood fan of like the snow cones. How there's always like Tiger's Blood.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of that flavor. I was a huge fan of the white one because I like the white monsters. It's just like a clean flavor.
That's the Arctic white flavor. It's like a grapefruit kind of. It's kind of a weird flavor to pinpoint, but it does taste like the white monster.
So I've only tried that one and this one.
Yep.
So far, I'd go with the white one more often, but this flavor is still gas too. Like I definitely still drink this.
I think it kind of tastes like a little bit of a cherry
and something else, but I can't like pinpoint it.
It kind of gives me a hint of like pineapple, like a tiny hint of pineapple, like cherry pineapple. It's kind of hard to pinpoint what the actual flavor.
I get some black cherry in there, to be honest, to me.
Yeah, but it tastes a lot different than the black cherry vanilla kind.
Yeah.
I would say this one is a lot less sweet. So if you're not a huge fan of super sweet energy drinks and you kind of just want a more chill flavor, this one and the other one that's releasing that I can't mention yet, those two are really less sweet, and they're more of just like a chill flavor, still flavorful, but this is just a nice fruity drink. But yeah, I would definitely say check it out if you're a fan of fruit punch, cherry, Tiger's Blood type flavors. And yeah, June 19th. So let's get back to it. A quick little plug.
Again, quick little
plug by Dawson set me up there. So all right.
After the gratitude, it kind of changes, but right now I'm doing this certain journal. It's called the 100-Day Goal Journal. Okay. Super helpful, and actually in there it has the gratitude too. It's actually right up here.
I don't know if that's in the frame, but it's just a little book up there.
Yeah, it's a great journal. You should pick it up. But it starts with there's a morning part and a night part. The morning part starts with your gratitude, and then you say in 97 days, I will achieve, and then it's your biggest goal, the one that you're working on within 100 days.
Do you care to share that, or is that a private goal?
It's just fitness related.
Oh, okay.
Is mine right now because I'm doing it's a cut, so it's basically to get the lowest body fat percentage that I can, since it's summertime.
We can do the in body at the YMCA if you want to test your body fat now and at the end.
Oh, I'd love to.
Like it's like an electrical current that passes through you. It's like a really cheaper version of a DEXA scan, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
But it gives you your body fat percentage, your body fat mass, your muscle mass, your water mass, bone density, bone mass, all that stuff.
Yeah,
so it's actually really helpful.
We gotta run that. I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to.
Whenever I'm working and you're in town, you can come in whenever.
Absolutely,
I'll let you know.
We'll have to do that. And then you kind of write out your action steps for the day to achieve that goal. What are you gonna do that day? What are your micro goals?
Okay.
They're gonna help you hit that main goal.
Do you list like 3 or a certain amount of tasks that you're going to achieve, like do that day, like small increments that will just help you get towards that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you list 3 mini goals
Yeah.
that you're going to hit that day. And then there's a action plan part where you can write down several different things, the start time and the end time. And then on the nighttime portion of it, which I think is really huge, is basically just reflection. You look at, hey, this is what I did today. What went wrong? Where did I go wrong? And how can I better combat that next time? Which I think is something I haven't done a ton in my life, daily reflection.
Like reflecting on what you could have done better?
Yeah, I've done more long-term reflection, but this is the first time I'm really doing daily reflection.
Yeah.
And I think that it is so huge, and I'm so happy that I'm incorporating it into my morning routine now.
For sure.
Because it really is helping me get better every single day.
Yeah.
Because I'm just learning from my mistakes more, especially in dieting. I can say, okay, I had more carbs during this breakfast that spiked my insulin, and then I was just kind of eating for the rest of the day.
So now you like were more hungry.
Right. So now maybe I should hold my carbs until lunch. That way I don't spike my insulin in the morning.
Yeah.
And then also I ate breakfast too early today.
Yeah.
Eat it later in the day, then my eating window is shorter. And basically just through the self-reflection, you get to learn,
Yeah.
And just learn from your mistakes. And I think that's huge.
One thing on what you just said with the carbs spiking your insulin early in the day, one thing that I've been doing is making a smoothie in the morning with eggs. So, or not like eggs in the smoothie. But
Wait,
like,
yeah, I was like, what?
no,
Eggs in your
that's crazy.
smoothie?
That's crazy. Some people do that though for bulking. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like put
like
raw
make some
eggs in
egg
there.
whites or
That's
something.
disgusting. But anyway, I make like 3 or 4 eggs depending on usually if I didn't have that much food the previous day or I'm feeling lighter, or I weigh myself like every couple days, not every day.
Yeah.
Just because I used to be like obsessed with the weight on the scale, and that's kind of like a bad thing to
Definitely.
get in the habit of. It's
I
more like
do think
looking
it's a
in the
little
mirror.
important if you're cutting though.
Yeah, but looking in
But-
the mirror is a better representation.
Yeah.
Like every week, you just see your picture difference. Because every day you might not notice anything, but over a week
Right.
you'll notice like a tiny bit. I think that's more accurate. Because you could be recomping. You'll probably put on a little bit of muscle during this because
sure.
you're like training more.
Yeah, I am training harder than I was.
Anyway, I was eating, or what I'm doing now, this is a part of my morning routine, I guess you could say. I just have 3 eggs, and then I've been making a smoothie with a ton of vegetables and herbs and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing for my carbs. I get my carbs from frozen fruit, like frozen berries, and then like kale, spinach, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that really doesn't spike your insulin at all. I usually have the same mental clarity. It doesn't fill you up as much, but you can make like 2 smoothies. I use a magic bullet, so the cup
Right,
is probably
yeah.
like this big, so it's not a ton, but I'll use frozen berries and then kale, parsley, cilantro, and those are cheap. Like you can get vegetables for cheap at the store. It's like eating on a budget and stuff like that. So.
A really awesome thing that you can do with the vegetable stuff too. I don't know if the viewers, probably not a ton of people do this, is that you can go and buy 50 different greens
Yeah,
and freeze them and put them in your blender. And so you blend it all up to you grind it,
like literally like a greens powder. type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So it's like a powder, and then you just put it in a bag, put it in the freezer, so it lasts forever. And then
Yeah,
you just throw it in your.
That's also way
smoothie every
smarter than
time.
what I've been doing, because I literally just take like a huge like chunk of kale, just shove it in, and then I take some pieces of spinach, shove it in, and then I dump in a little cilantro, cinnamon, chia seeds, frozen berries.
Yeah,
and then I
that's
just put
great.
in. I've been putting a scoop of plant-based vanilla protein powder. In.
Yeah.
It's like a superfoods one. It's from Orgain. That's not a sponsor,
like
but
from King Supers.
it's just called Orgain.
seen that.
The brand is just Orgain. It has they have a lot of plant-based proteins, but that's
I've
a
had
good
that, yeah.
good plant-based protein brand. Waiting for Gorilla to drop that plant-based protein.
Oh,
Actually,
they doing that?
they might have some plant-based. I should probably figure that out, but I just don't use whey protein just for
really?
like skin health and dairy and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So I've been using the plant-based, but the vanilla one is good, and that's really all the sweetness you need. But the carbs, I'm really getting a tiny bit from that, and then the rest is literally just from the berries, and there's like trace carbs in the vegetables. But that doesn't really spike my insulin. I feel still a lot of mental clarity, because when my insulin spiked, I can tell I get tired. I have brain fog.
Right,
That's
yeah.
literally just how it feels, and that was happening when I would eat, say, like waffles or cereal every morning, or I would just get that midday crash, like early afternoon, and that's when you need to be firing. So I say you either go fasted for that morning work, or you just have a really low carb meal, higher protein. Even fats are good.
Yeah,
like you could have an avocado. I know you said you eat avocado toast sometimes. So.
Yeah. It's great to hear like how much knowledge you have on like how certain foods have affected how you feel. Yeah. And that's basically what I was getting into, is just how important that reflection is.
You just kind of got to think deeper. And writing it down, and really like you actually have to think about these super small things that you would never think about. It's the same with the gratitude. You never think about that because we're so consumed in the world, so busy doing all these other things, thinking about what's going on, but you don't really think about how things affect your mental health. Things you actually put into your body or like consume during the day that actually has an impact on your health and how your brain functions.
Yeah, and everything will affect different people differently. So just do your exploration.
You got to experiment with yourself and figuring out what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah. So after the journal, I get right into reading. This is something that is like vital that I do every single day.
I want to start reading more.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit.
I need to actually like read it.
Implement it, just start with like 2 pages a day.
Or 5. Like I can, because I used to do 10, but it was only for like a couple weeks. But
that is something that I think is important to implement if you're having a hard time starting new habits.
Start small.
Start super small. Like if you want to start reading,
something
start
that
one
can
page
stay
a day.
Consistent. Yeah.
Because
you could even read one sentence a day.
Yeah, no,
and
actually.
then you build up to like a page.
You build a habit, and then you can start doing more from there. But reading is super important to me, and it's honestly something that I think is just an absolute hack.
It actually can get kind of addicting.
A lot of people don't quite understand, because you think, I like to put it this way: you spend $20 on a book, right?
Yeah.
If it's, like a business
book. Or
book.
it's free for an audiobook. A lot of books are free now.
Yeah, true. You can find a lot of free books too, and libraries have books too.
Yeah, libraries.
But anyways, you can make a very small purchase to buy a book.
Yeah.
And then quickly you can be in the mindset of a millionaire.
Yeah.
You're in that person's mind. Whatever facet, it is, whether it's construction or starting a business or doing a podcast or sales, you can go into that professional's mindset and learn from them for such a small amount of money. And that's what I think is so huge. And since I'm not furthering my education in the same way that others around me are, it's important to me that I'm still learning every single day. And I think that books are a great way to do that.
When you say that, you're referring to not being in college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing we got into a little bit on the last podcast, which I do want to get into on a future episode. We probably don't have enough time to go deep into that today, but
we'll do that
next time or sometime in the future. I want to really talk about college and what our opinions are on that, like the current education system. We'll definitely need to do some research into that prior to an episode about that, just because I don't want to give any misinformation.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, there's so many more ways to learn than sitting in a classroom, and YouTube is a good one, but that you can do this thing. There's a term called mental masturbation, which is like you're literally just taking in all this information, but not actually like.
I've never heard that.
You think you're learning, or you think you're learning these super valuable skills and like making your life better. You think you're making yourself smarter, but you're actually just watching someone else do the thing you want to do without actually doing it. So that's like the idea
really
of mental masturbation. So it's like watching a video of someone on a yacht and you're like, oh bro, like this is so sick, like I wish I could be on a yacht, but you're not actually doing it. Or you're watching someone learn how to make money and you think you're learning how to make money, but you're never actually implementing that stuff to go and make money.
That's so interesting.
Maybe I'm not explaining it the best.
No, dude, that is actually like blowing my mind right now. I'm gonna have to do a lot of personal research into that, because I'd love to learn more.
Yeah,
about
it's I don't know if it's a super heavily researched term, but I've heard it thrown around a couple times, and it makes a lot of sense, because I don't know if I was talking to you about this one time, but I do a ton of, I guess you could say, research on how to start a business, how to grow my social medias, how to just be better, self-improvement, stuff like that. All these kinds of YouTube videos. I watch podcasts, always listening to a podcast, which is good, but it's like information overload sometimes. Like I literally cannot implement probably even 10% of all the stuff I consume, because it's so much. And so I think learning in different ways, like reading, can be a better way to get information without just staring at a screen and doing that mental masturbation. Because I'm not really sure about the science behind reading, but I know it is very good for like memory consolidation. You actually learn a lot from reading more than you do from like listening or seeing. So, I mean, audiobooks are good too, but I think there's just something about like reading the actual words on the page. It makes your brain work better. You get better at reading comprehension. There's just so many benefits to reading that I definitely want to get into that. And that's like a different way you can learn other than like YouTube videos or the internet doing research. Reading there's so much knowledge to be gained because you're, like you said, you're literally reading the works of these people have put in 2, 3, 4, 5 years into a single book with like 200 pages, and it's all geared towards giving the best information possible. And it's such a low price because they're trying to just get a bunch of people to buy it. So they're not necessarily doing it for like a huge money per purchase because they're selling, I don't know, 100, 2,000, 200,000 copies. But most people aren't really taking that information and implementing it. They're just reading it and then they're just throwing the book to the side.
Yeah, implementation is important.
So you have to learn how to actually practically implement the things you learn. I'd say taking in less knowledge of, especially the internet, for example, or a book. Try and implement one thing from each piece of content you consume or each book. At least implement one thing. And then over time, you'll start to be able to consume less but implement more. So you're getting more out of less content you're consuming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I need to be better about that. I'm definitely not the best at that, but it's something I want to work on for sure.
I do agree with that.
This summer, I have so much more free time to actually work on that, putting systems in place like Notion. I want to start doing Notion. I'm sure that's a big part of your morning routine. That probably helps you keep track. Do you use that for like...
I run... My whole life is through Notion.
Imagine if that just like crashed though. Like, what are you doing? You'd be good? Be fine? You could just like paper it all out though too.
Yeah. Little mic fall.
No one saw that, bro. First time using the mic,
check.
so I don't have as much like hand room to do motions with. Bro, someone's gonna clip that. We're definitely clipping that for the pod.
Wait, what'd you ask me though?
I think could you just use paper to like write all the stuff you have in Notion?
Yeah.
It would take a while, but
It's a great tool though. That's something I do in my morning routine with Notion too. Is just set up my whole day, plan out literally every single thing I do. I'm a planner, so I plan out everything. But right after the reading, basically I just get into my work for the day, whatever that is, whether it's work on Haley Home Services, which is my construction business, or Blissful Intentions, which is my clothing line, which I'm in the midst of bringing back now.
How's that going right now? A little rebrand, or is it just like...
Not much of a rebrand, but just bringing it back because the site's not up anymore. I haven't been doing anything with it for a long time. So
I'm going to definitely be repping that, though.
Hell yeah.
I need a little code Berg on that, on Blissful Intentions.
Oh, yeah. Get you a code? Yeah, I'll get you a code. Send you some.
That'd be
send
sick,
you some
though.
stuff, too. So
No,
I'm
I'd
working on a
definitely be
few
down
different
with that.
designs right now and just working with the manufacturers and trying to get samples and stuff. So in the midst of bringing that back. So we'll see. It's not a huge priority right now, but it is something that I'm involving into my life again. I'm working on starting a new business called Haley Coaching. One of my dreams
Is that life coaching?
Yeah.
That's
to be
sick.
kind of like a life coach and kind of like share my knowledge with others and help other people grow. So I'm starting that right now as well.
This also, like, talking on the podcast and just getting more articulate and having deep conversations like between us two, that's going to also help you too. And that might also even help you market your life coaching. Because someone might, from the podcast that's viewing, might want to have a one-on-one with you and like really pick your brain on that.
Yeah.
You could really help people like that. So
absolutely,
that's a sick idea, I think.
Yeah, it really is like my ultimate dream. And I feel like I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting more comfortable, expressing myself in this way. And that was a goal of this, is I want to learn how to express myself better than I had previously. And just help people. But yeah, so working on those different things. And then I also like to go to the gym in the morning time.
Okay.
I also just feel like I have more energy. I have more motivation.
Yeah.
And I get in a better lift. Yeah. And I also think that getting my workout in the morning sets the rest of my day up.
Okay.
Just to have a successful day, because I feel like for me, I do, when I get in a grind, like I really do love the gym. But
no, I'm thinking about work.
But sometimes, like, I have a hard time pushing myself to really have a good workout, And if I can achieve that really productive workout early in the morning, there's nothing else I can't achieve during the rest of the day.
So I think, because I was saying I like to usually get in most of the work or most of the things I want to get done for the day before I work out. You do your morning routine, then you work out, and then you can continue doing things after the day. I think it's different for everybody. You gotta experiment with what time you go to the gym or do your
I think that's a
hardest
big thing
task
about
of the day.
this episode. It's just like experiment, explore, figure out what's right for you. Just doing that alone is amazing. That's an amazing first step. But yeah, the stuff like the reading, the journal, the stuff like that. I also involve affirmations some mornings, meditation some mornings. I kind of throw those in here and there.
Depending on how you feel.
Yeah, those are all things that just they make me feel good. They set me up for the
tools.
day. Yeah, they set me up to control my emotions. They set my confidence up. They set just my mentality up for the whole day.
Yeah.
And then that's when I can get into the rest of my day. And when I don't do those things in the morning, I can just tell like I'm not mentally prepared.
You're just not
for the day.
in as good of a mental state to take on the day.
Exactly. So I know we talked a lot about my routine, and I know you said you've been experimenting a little bit recently, but it's also a little new for you. So what are some things you've been doing recently in your morning routine?
So for me, ideally, which I've been doing a decent amount. I mean, this past week I was at a bachelor party, an Airbnb for a bachelor party the entire week, so my schedule was kind of weird. We were doing activities and stuff and staying up later, getting up earlier. So like sleep wasn't amazing. It was not bad, but I was also sleeping on like a couch in the basement.
Yeah.
I got like there was like bed bugs and stuff. I got like little bites everywhere.
Oh, really?
They're kind of fading, but I don't know. I was getting like red bumps everywhere on my legs and stuff. So that was kind of weird, but anyway, that's irrelevant. So my morning routine was completely non-existent there. But what I'm going to be doing this summer, and I'm actually holding myself to it, is I have a notebook. I mean, it's just a blank notebook, so not like that. I might need to get that. That's actually, I think that'd be a sick idea.
I have so many notebooks, though. I have so many blank ones, so many for different purposes.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to keep it as simple as possible because the more variables I throw in at the beginning, I'm not going to be able to sustain it. So... I'm just listening to that dryer song.
Oh, yeah. We got a dryer. They probably can't hear it, though. Yeah. But that's why I was saying, like, the affirmations and meditation, I don't do it every day because if I did, it would be too much.
Yeah.
I couldn't sustain it. So I save it more for days where I feel like I need it. Like, if I'm feeling a ton of anxiety one day, I talked about this on my YouTube. Yeah. That's when I'll throw in the meditation because that's when I need it most.
The meditation is also something it can seem kind of corny at first when you start. I've only done it a couple times. I just don't really get that much benefit from it personally. I know you have to stick with it for a long time to really see great benefits from it, but I just don't really throw it into my routine because I don't think it has a huge impact for me. So I think you can pick and choose what works for you and what you actually like. I might get into it a little bit sometime in the future.
I do encourage you just to stick
with it.
Different parts of it, like there's so many different ways to meditate.
True.
One thing for me is like if I'm going through the day and I'm cooking, an example, like I just practice being present, practice my breath, and that's meditation right there. Like there's so many different forms of meditation, and that's gonna be different for everyone. And mainly what I do is like when you have like anxiety feeling in your body, stick with me for a minute. It's gonna sound kind of crazy, but lay down. I put the music on, and you basically start at your head, so you can feel these different. You just want to have your
tense
breaths
in
really
your
deep. Yeah, you can and you can feel where that is in your body because you carry emotions in your body. And you start at your head, and with each exhale, you feel you try to push it down.
Release it, yeah.
So I work at the top of my head, and then I go all the way to the end of my body, trying to push that out. And on some body parts, it's harder. I have to take like multiple breaths to try to get it out. But then when I get up, I can like completely feel the difference in my body.
Do you do that before you go to sleep? I've done that. I've done something like that. Like,
sometimes.
There's techniques to go to sleep where you like turn off each body part essentially. It's kind of similar to that. But I don't want to experiment with meditation. There's just other priorities I have with the self-improvement stuff that are like above that that I think will help me more, but eventually I'll explore that for sure.
Absolutely.
But basically wake up 8:30, 9, probably want to get closer to 8, but right now, like being realistic, it's more 8:30, 9. Take my meds, take a shower, shave. Usually I gotta shave like every other day because I got this annoying facial hair. But, so shave, shower, takes about 30. I like to take longer showers. I just kind of clear my head in the morning. But yeah, so by then it's about 9:30, getting close to 10 some days. And also I chug like a whole, I
That's
don't know if it's a
great.
liter,
Water.
but I chug a water
That's
like
great.
this, usually a shaker cup, or I drink 2 full glasses, like 12-ounce glasses. That's like the hugest
Listen
thing
to
to
that.
start.
That is
start for your day.
huge. And I do
Yeah.
that too. I just didn't mention it. That is
Yeah.
huge because you think about it. Your body just went
70%.
8 hours or more or whatever
Yeah.
without water.
You're so dehydrated.
and you're
after
made
you
of
wake
water.
up.
Yeah. So you got to flush your body with the water right when
Especially
you
your
wake
brain.
up.
Your brain is
Mhm.
literally, I mean, people tell you it's like 70% water or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like your brain is literally floating in water. So you need to get that water and get hydrated right
Yeah.
away. And by the time you're done with your morning routine or your shower or whatever it is, you're going to be hydrated because
Yep.
that water's now, and you need to keep consuming like throughout your morning routine. I'd say just have water next to you. Keep sipping that throughout the morning. Getting your water in early in the morning, it's going to make your workout in the afternoon better. Or even if you work out at night, it's going to make
Mm-hmm.
your work more productive. Water and sleep are like literally the 2 most underrated
Yeah.
things for self-improvement or being productive.
Absolutely.
Those are
Glad you
2
said
things
that.
I'm pretty good with, which I think allows me to be more flexible in the other parts.
Mhm.
And get away with it, like being still good because I'm so on it with my water, my
Yeah,
hydration,
yeah.
and usually my sleep. So, yeah, 9:30 between 9:30 and 10, I'm done with like getting ready for the day, you could say. And I like taking a shower in the morning just so I feel fresh for the day and feel
Mhm.
clean and stuff like that. Some people shower like right at night before they go to bed.
I'm morning too.
But I don't really get like dirty during the day unless I do
Yeah.
like a super hard workout and get like really sweaty. Usually that's track workouts, not in the gym. Or maybe if I'm doing legs and I get super sweaty, I'll shower before bed too, or after the gym. But come downstairs, make my eggs. Takes me like 15 minutes to make my eggs and my smoothie. Maybe I'll have a podcast on, or sometimes I'll just do it in silence. Just be alone with my thoughts in the morning. My head's usually pretty clear, which I like in the morning. And this has been consistent. I just want to add in more elements like the journal. I'll go back to that in a sec. So I make my 3 eggs, get out all my smoothie stuff, make my smoothie, sit down, drink the smoothie, eat the eggs. Usually I'm like listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube video at some point. And usually it's something that's like self-improvement related or productivity related
Yeah.
because I'm just super into optimizing that right now. And a lot of it's based on content because I'm trying to really make this podcast do well, help grow it, and learning about thumbnail designing, starting to work for a couple creators on that, which is super cool. I don't know if I mentioned that to you.
You did, yeah.
But I've been reaching out to a couple creators that I like and got some interest in that, which is sick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So just a lot of educational based content. I'm more interested in that because it makes me feel productive. I guess that's similar to the mental masturbation, but some of it I'm definitely absorbing and using. So then after that, I pretty much get on with the day, whether it's going to the gym, filming a YouTube video, editing. I want to be more consistent about getting work done earlier in the day, like right after that, right after I ate breakfast. But yeah, and sometimes I'll fast longer. Sometimes I won't eat until like 11 or 12 just because it makes me feel pretty clear mentally.
too,
And
yeah.
the earlier I eat in the day, the more hungry I am throughout the day. Because I feel like I'm hungry the same amount after I eat. So if I eat earlier, there's more time where I'm hungry throughout the day
Yeah,
and I
your
want to
eating
eat.
window, yeah.
But if I push that back, I'm still the same amount of hungry, I guess you'd say. That sounds
Yeah.
kind of weird, but for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So sometimes I like pushing it back a little bit more for the mental clarity. But yeah, I want to start doing a journal. I've done like 3 days of it where I have sleep, like time from the night before, the time I went to sleep, and then I write down the time I woke up.
Oh, nice.
Then I put the number of hours next to it,
Yeah.
and I'm aiming for 8. So
Yeah,
anything 8 or above, 8 is like, anything below 8 is I don't want to have happen. 8 is like
Yeah.
the bare minimum. So write the number right next to that with the hours, and then 1, 2, 3 goals for the day. Like biggest 3 things I want to get done. So like non-negotiables, they can be super small. It could literally be finish editing YouTube video, make this thumbnail. It could be hang out with blank or film a podcast, or could be come up with video ideas for
Yeah, right.
summer. Whatever it is, like it's usually smaller things that I know I can get done that day. But if you just complete a few small tasks every day, that's going to help you
Yeah,
get closer to your
absolutely.
goals. It's like that incremental steps. And kind of the thing that you said, it's like those 3 small things you want to do to get closer to your main goal.
Absolutely.
And if you write down 20 things on a to-do list and you only get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 done, you're not going to think about what you got done. You're going to think about those other things. You're going to be demotivated. You're going to be like, I didn't complete any of this stuff I wanted to do. That's the problem with making huge to-do lists for a day.
Yeah.
And that's what I found. I was less productive when I made huge to-do lists rather than just getting like 1 or 2, like one main thing for the day and like a couple things that I also want to get done that are smaller.
Yeah, that's big to realize that. That's cool.
And then so I've done this for a couple days, and then the next 1, 2, 3 below the goals is gratitude. So 3 things I'm grateful for, and I want to try and make them different every day.
Yeah,
Obviously.
absolutely. That's what I was saying. And as you just keep going over time, you're gonna find so much. It's gonna be so easy.
It's tough at the beginning, like to find these new things. Maybe your day, like day 7, 8,
which is kind of sad to say.
20 things,
but it's just if you don't do it every day, your brain's not trained that way because that's how we're trained is to see the bad things.
For sure. What are we at for time right now? Just don't want to go.
We don't got
too much into your time.
Crazy much longer, but I do want to
10, 15 minutes left.
Yeah,
it's 10:36.
I do want to touch on something you said. So you talked about in the morning you kind of like sometimes like to be alone with your thoughts.
Okay.
That for me, solitude is the number one thing, the number one influence on my life that has made me into the person that I am. So I would like to first kind of know what the influence of that is on you and why that is important to you and just your thoughts on it.
I think one thing that is very interesting is a lot of us will wake up and get straight on our phones. I don't do that anymore, but especially that's a problem is being in your bed, getting straight on your phone, or going to the bathroom, getting on your phone, or going down and making breakfast. You're scrolling social media. You're waking up into someone else's life. If you're consuming content first thing in the day, you are literally waking up and first thing you're jumping into someone else's life, not your own. You need to live in your own life. It's going to make you feel so much more present when you just appreciate your morning, thankful to be alive, be grateful that you have this day. Some people don't even get to wake up that day. So you just need to live into your own life and not live immediately in someone else's world. I think that's super important. So for me, I try and not be on my phone for the first hour of the day. Sunlight before screen light. So get the sun.
Ooh, that's a good saying right there.
Sunlight before screen light.
Before screen light.
Yeah.
I'm sorry using that.
I heard that from someone else. So yeah, don't quote me on that one.
That's good though.
But yeah, it's a good one. So, and it's just 10 minutes. Getting a quick walk around the block with my dog sets me up for the day. I've been able to appreciate nature. I talked about this on the last podcast with Joe and Andrew. Just allows you to appreciate nature and being alive.
Yep.
And then come home, take the shower, eat, and by that time maybe I'm consuming a podcast, but I've woken up in my own life and not in someone else's. And that's a problem I used to have. Always being in someone else's life, always following what other people are doing, but not actually thinking, I'm actually alive, I'm a person. And that's why I want to create content rather than consume. So I'm going to try and be at a point where I'm consuming less and just consuming the creators I'm really interested in, but also living more for my own life and not to be super in tune with what other people are doing. So yeah, I'd say that's the most important thing about being alone with your thoughts in the morning and not just immediately, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to wake up and go straight into someone else's world. It's like, oh, their life is perfect. That's super cool. You're getting that instant dopamine, like seeing them do cool things, but you're not actually appreciating what you have. That's going to make you devalue what your own life means to you more. The more you look at, oh, how successful this person is, I wish I could do that, instead of actually just actively trying to appreciate what you have but better your own life every morning, every day. That's going to set you up so much better than living in someone else's life. So that's kind of what I think is important about not consuming content or staring at your phone first thing in the morning, and just being alone without your phone or without your computer, and just having a morning routine where you're just thinking about yourself and setting yourself up for the day. That's going to allow you to be more present for like the whole rest of the day too, not just in that morning.
Absolutely. I love that. I love all that. Just so you know, your mic's really close to falling off.
They got through it earlier.
Yeah, so about like we're pretty like we haven't like talked a ton, so kind of a newer friendship. We're still getting to know each other. But anyway, so like 5, 6, like probably about 6 years ago, I went through like a really, really deep depression. Like I really consider myself like lucky to even be here every day.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was really, really awful. And the thing that changed my whole life was solitude. I actually wrote like a whole essay on it. It's something I'm super passionate talking about.
Should let me read the essay, bro.
I will. Yeah, it was for school, but yeah, actually, I still do have it. I'll have to let you read it.
Sick.
There is a interesting statistic, and I can't state it exactly because I don't remember, but the statistic showed that most people would rather be shocked than to stay in a room for 10 minutes alone without a phone and just completely by themselves and their thoughts. And that's
sad.
so crazy that
Yeah,
because when you're alone in solitude, you have to face yourself.
Yeah, that's when you actually discover
Exactly.
who you are and,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm grateful for it now, but sadly enough that at that time, you know, my family was going through all these things as well, and I didn't really have any friends, especially friends that I could connect with, that I felt so alone all the time that I spent so much time in solitude that whole time I was just working on myself, developing myself, finding out who I am and having to face my depression, you know, and having to work through those things every single day. That's kind of transformed me into who I am now today. I think that, and it's something that I need to get back to in involving that alone time into every day more, because I think that's where the true growth comes from. And that means no music, no anything. Yeah. Like you have to be completely alone with your own thoughts. But I think that's where the deepest forms of growth can come from.
And one thing I mean, it's not good to assume, but one thing I'm assuming is when you were in that state where everything around you sucked and everything was horrible, you had to reflect with your thoughts and just yourself and really like find out who you were and how to overcome that, those depression feelings, the anxiety, anything like that. Once things started to go right around you and rebuild around you, and you had a better support system, you felt more accepted or in the world, and just things were starting to go right, you were already so much more mentally strong that you could appreciate those things and enjoy life that much more.
Absolutely.
Because you had that time to grow and work on yourself.
Yeah, because my journey in self-development that started back then, I mean, the reason I'm so passionate about self-development and I'm starting the coaching business because I want to help other people improve their life.
And the podcast.
Is because, there's many times I didn't want to be here at all. Yeah. Like the only thing I wanted to do was not to be
not talk to anybody.
Earth. Like I just didn't want to be alive.
No,
you know,
I've felt that for sure.
I know that a lot of people go through things like that, and I want to be able to help people, you know, elevate their life, because through that solitude, that's what I had to learn, you know, and I had to equip myself with these self-development tools, and I learned so much through that that has changed my life, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, and I want to help other people do that as well. So going through those times equip me with these tools that now in these better times, I'm able to just live a better life, you know, because of those tools. And when
things do get tough, you know how to overcome that, and you know how to you don't forget who you are. You don't struggle with the personal identity as much. Times can still be rough, but you're more strong. You're mentally more strong, so you can handle you're better equipped to handle that because you've already been through that.
I agree, because you're more familiar with yourself, and that's part of that shock versus staying in a room idea, is because most people aren't even familiar with themselves, you know, because they don't spend that time alone getting to know themselves. And to me, that's a scary thing, you know.
That's one thing that on the last episode we were talking a lot about social media. One negative effect that I don't think we even really went into is that living in someone else's life all the time and never spending time with yourself or your own. I think that's one reason why that statistic is so high now. Everyone's constantly on the internet, and I know it's like kind of cliche to say, but people are so addicted to their phones.
That's why social media is so big, is because it
makes you feel validated and like you're accepted, because you're seeing, all these people, like, they're having so much fun. I get to like they're liking my posts and they're watching my story and all this. I think sometimes I'll see people go look through their story viewers and like who's looking their story. I think that's like the dumbest thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I've done it once or twice, but people that look at their stories every time to see like who's watching their stories and like how many viewers I'm getting on my story, like that's really not important at all, because no one cares what you're doing. Like that's another thing of overcoming social anxiety. If you go to the gym do you really remember what someone looked like or what someone was wearing, like a random person? You have your own stuff to worry about. You have your own life. No one's looking at you. No one cares what you're
No
doing.
one.
That's one thing that helped me when I was reflecting a lot, get over like social anxiety and not. We can do it an episode on mental health and depression because I've struggled with that as
I'd
well.
love to.
In the last year, I had a really transformative period, and we can get into that sometime with both of our stories.
Let's do that.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I think just understanding that no one really is judging you as much as you think they are. It's like the spotlight effect. Have you ever heard of that? It's basically you think you have a spotlight on you and everyone's watching your every move and everyone's always like looking at you, critiquing you, picking out what's wrong with you. But that's just yourself.
It's kind of like, I mean, we all say like, oh, like that person thinks the world revolves around them. I think everyone it feels like that, you know.
It feels like other people
you're in
are
your
a
own
side
world.
character in your
Yeah,
own life.
right.
But as you understand that more,
Everyone's
I feel
like that in their own life.
Yeah.
So no one's actually thinking about you. They're just thinking about themselves and what they think you think of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always, it's been harder for me to really like resonate with people, but now that I see the world that way, like no one really is really judging me or thinking about that. I really tried to connect with people. It allows me to like it's kind of hard to explain this, but it just allows me to be better friends with people and really care about them as a person, because I understand that I've dealt with so much struggle with like thinking highly of myself and just confidence, but now I really want to help build other people up because I've been able to feel like very connected to myself more than I was in the past. I still have a lot of growth to do, obviously, but I feel like I can really connect with people more now. And some of my friends, especially like me and Joseph, we've had really deep talks. Shout out Joseph if you're watching this. We've had really deep talks in the last couple of weeks just about helping each other with the struggles that we're going through. And I shared part of my story with him and same with him to me. And I just realized I'm a lot better at connecting with people because I did that deep searching, soul searching with myself. And I feel like you have to go through that. Sometimes you have to go through that depression to really find yourself and reflect on what you don't do well, how you treat people. I realized the way I was treating some people was not a reflection of who I wanted to be as a person and not how I would have wanted to be treated. So you just have to take that reflection and really implement it into your life and understand that we're not perfect. I've made mistakes in my life. You've made mistakes. Everyone's made mistakes, but you've got to learn from that and grow from that and be the person who you want to be. Yeah. Going forward, especially in relationships.
Everything you just said, dude.
Relationships are so important, and I've really been embracing friendships, and I really like doing this, talking to you, because we're pretty like-minded, and we've gone through similar stuff, and we have big goals, but if our heads are in the right place on really just building the genuine connections, then we're going to be successful. We'll find a way to be successful somehow, whatever avenue that might be. I think it's really just all starts with your personal development, and that's why self-improvement is so important.
Absolutely.
And not getting crazy wrapped up in self-improvement, because some people are so obsessed with like the red pill,
blue
like
pill
misogyny,
stuff.
all that stuff. It's not really that deep. It's like, it is deep, it's important, but it's really just trying to get better every single day and be as genuine as you can and build relationships with people that you care about and really just supporting each other until you reach your goals. Yeah. That's kind of the way I think of it. I'm just trying to really, this summer, just elevate myself and those around me so we can just get closer to achieving what we want to achieve.
Love that.
It's going to be good.
Love that. Something I want to touch on real quick, we got to run soon, but is about a nighttime routine. This is something that's become like apparent to me, and I've heard from several other people, whether it's YouTube or books, is that a good morning starts the night before. Yeah. You set the way you have a good morning is how you
it's all
go
dictated
through
on
your
your sleep. You need to set yourself up for the sleep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's so many different things you can do to set yourself up. Like if you have a hard time going to the gym, set out your clothes the night before. Yeah. You don't got to think about it. You already know what you're wearing.
Also set your workout routine. Don't go to that's one thing. When we do the fitness episode, have a plan that you're following, or at least have a workout for the day. Because if you go into the gym and just say, I'm going to hit this, they're gonna want to leave early. They're gonna be like, nah, I don't really have a plan, so I'll just do this exercise and then leave, or you don't know how many sets or reps to do.
Yeah.
You don't even have to think. If you have a plan, you just follow it. You
That's
don't have to
important.
overthink about these extra factors.
And I don't have a plan right now, so actually you should help me create up
sauce
a
you
little.
up.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
I
great.
can toss you up a plan for sure, bro.
Anything else you want to touch on real quick?
I don't think so. I think we covered a pretty good variety of stuff.
Great.
Talked a little mental health, a bunch about the morning routines, and some basic self-improvement stuff. So I think it was definitely a good.
No, actually, I really
episode.
enjoyed this episode. I think it was actually really great. I do want to mention real quick that yesterday I released like my first YouTube video.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
we'll have to link that down in the description,
Yeah.
both of our channels.
Yep.
So you can check them out.
I'll be
But-
posting a YouTube video this week, and then
Hell yeah.
gonna be starting to do 2 videos a week every
Hell
single
yeah.
week from this week on, I guess. So it's gonna be a grind.
Mhm.
Gonna be grinding out some clips from the podcast too. I think we got probably the best clips from this one. I think
Mhm.
we had some good points and definitely
Yeah.
informative stuff. Like obviously, I say this a lot, but we're not experts in any of this mental health stuff. We're not certified, but we have experience, and life experience goes a long way. And
Yeah.
it's going to be different for you. We were also saying you can't directly implement what we implement, but you should try the things we've tried, experiment, and see what works for you. And you're going to find something that works really well for you. And just take bits and pieces of everybody. Learn as much as you can. We want you guys to learn from this podcast and take away things. We're learning just as much from each other as you guys can learn from us. So
Yeah. I
it's
couldn't
really
have said it
just-
better. And we appreciate the support too. Like we've
For sure.
got really good support from a lot of people who said they've been watching
Yeah.
and keep bringing it in too. You know, if there's like certain things
Yeah.
you want to see, topics or like ways
Yeah.
we can improve it.
For sure.
We got the mics this time, so
Oh yeah, we've
audio
already-
quality's stepped up.
The editing on the last one was also pretty good. Shout out to Joseph and Andrew who helped edit with that one.
Yep.
It was a great episode, and they also wanted to help edit it. My thumbnails are getting better. So we're just
Yeah.
trying to improve every single episode, and yeah, leave feedback in the comments. Anything we could do better, especially we want that constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of constructive criticism. It's going to help us go a long way.
Me
And
too.
yeah, just trying to grow every episode. We hit 300 views on the last one, which doesn't seem like a lot to some people, but for us, I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot
big
up from our
starting
first one.
out. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We're going to wrap it up. And yeah, we'll see ya.